Hello, welcome to a Hare over Hill. Today, I'm gonna be looking over some of the Final Fantasy Ultimania archive. I have both uh, Volume 1, which covers 1 through 6, and Ultimania's 7 through 9. I was gonna pick up Volume 3 at some point, but I was actually skimming through this and like overall, how most things are actively presented is actually uh quite nice. It goes from everything from actual just uh I'm gonna actually skip forward general like concept arts and the overall details to like the finished actual like arts of all the characters and everything, in which I mean I'm forgetting the actual original artist, but series, but it's again excellently done. Gives a great concept of everything. It gives each all the monsters are given excellent rendered. It and even with the uh, giving the bios for most of the characters that needed, like memorable moments, quotes, uh, and even with Volume 2, that covers a whole lot more. It goes in a lot more detail, which should be expected. But it also, in general, goes with a lot more of the uh, a lot more of the side characters with finished artwork, a little bit of a description. Um, Again, with a lot of the monsters, uh, the Final Fantasy VIII Guardian Forces, which are real nice. Get a little description for them, a lot of the vehicles, and you get to see a lot of, and it's like cutscenes, uh, how they plan that, and overall, it's like some of the almost everything in here is great. The and just for like for those who like, oh yeah, there's like I want information or like a general look at things. They are. I don't think there really is much like. Yeah, they are inclusions for general concept arts for not for everyone, but uh, I think general proofs. Um, yeah, there's general concepts and like, oh yeah, pre-ups like pre some pre-walks for a few characters, uh, mainly the main characters and whatnot. Um, okay, but I do have like maybe it's me, maybe it's my fat fingers, but I do have two criticisms. Um, although the pages are nice and thick, one of the major issues I actually have is there's been a few times of I want to turn the page, and I was like I'm either fighting it or it's when I actually turn the page. It's like, oh, it feels like I can't make multiple pages, and it's like no, I didn't. I only caught one. These are some these are nice, thick, heavy duty pages, but there's been times like, did I catch multiple pages? And I actually had to look like calculate the page numbers. I'm gonna see if I can. It's somewhat hard to catch. Or like actually somewhat nice and large, which are actually quite nice. I have to admit. But the other issue, I get why they did it. These are less criticisms and more like that's a weird decision, but I really first noticed it with, and it's true for both books. Um, the world maps. When I first had it, I had it laying down, so I noticed the world, the world map presented somewhat like this. So it's like I didn't exactly notice this. I would understand it if you were holding it somewhat like this, but it's like you still notice this giant gap right in there. I understand that not everyone's gonna lay it down, but even so, having it like the holding it like a normal book, it's like, oh, here's a world map. I want to lay it down. Oh, I can see everything. And the bigger, more detailed map doesn't really have much information, but oh look, it has a lot of like, oh Midgard. Like there's a smaller map, and it's like, oh, there's one. Maybe it's the lighting at the moment. It's somewhat hard to tell, but it's like the smaller, less detailed uh, map has all the like locations and whatnot. It seems odd. Um, the three other maps in here all have this issue, and a few of like a few of the maps from the original fine the volume one has a similar issue, which you would not think it would be a much of an issue because simpler maps. Uh, Nick, it's probably going to be more of a square than it is in the newer games. Nope, same issue. Um, there's a weird divide. I can get it for people who are holding it like a normal book, but there's still that weirdly large gap. And even as you're getting into the middle of the book, eh, the issue doesn't exactly resolve itself. I in part get why they did it, but Nick, these are the book is so heavy, and which is an actively good thing, but the pages have so much weight to it. At some point, I couldn't see them not doing a markup and not seeing the issues. I would understand it's like, oh, we're already so far into design, we can't make the correction. Like in part, I get that, but it's like on a second or third release, I'm not sure if they went back and corrected it, but it's still that's definitely something to look at. Definitely if you're designing a book, uh, definitely when you're doing a markup, find like try to get one or two test runs, and if you have a map in there, try that run of seeing like, oh, maybe we can divide this, but don't divide it too much because you might run into that issue of having weird spacing in terms of the map. Granted, I'm no production designer, so but yeah, that's a quick look of the uh, Final Fantasy Ultimania archives. These are more granted, when I originally picked it up, because I have heard about the Ultimanias before, but they were always presented as like, oh yeah, you can get some like background information on the designs. That wasn't exactly true here. It's mostly a coffee table thing, coffee table, or like look through some of the concepts that aren't exactly present. And although you can mostly look at these things online, um, but it's still nice to have. It's it concises a few things like with general and you get to see some general design dogs as well, so which is always nice. Um, I just was hoping for a little bit more in terms of like maybe some insight from the designers and whatnot. But I guess that was wishful thinking on my part. But overall, those are my general thoughts on the uh, Ultimania archive. Worth picking up if you want. Make it good. Make a coffee table book or something similar to that. Like a thing that you can flip through, read through partially, but not get much information out of it at the end of the day. Uh, so as always, I'm a Hare over heel. Um, do the YouTube things and leave a comment down below. Did you get one of the Ultimania books? And leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. See you all around.